KGB was busy covering up the reports, silencing those who made them, and clamping down on the press. But all the while, the spy agency was creating an official report on UFO activity in the USSR called the KGB Blue File.
Americans will never understand this, you know, because you have to be inside KGB to know the power KGB had. And during Stalin time, KGB was unbelievably powerful.
Written and researched over the 20-year span between the mid-60s and the mid-80s, the KGB Blue File was one of the most extensive official explorations of UFOs ever commissioned by any governmental agency anywhere.
The KGB Blue File is a 124-page collection of documents released in 1990. I believe this is not everything the KGB has had in their hands, and I'm not the only one.
The Blue File compiled thousands of reports of UFO sightings, dogfights, and crashes, all of which were described in vivid detail. According to the Blue File, as recently as March 21, 1990, the residents of a dozen Russian towns not too far from the gates of Kapustin Yar all witnessed the exact same UFO sighting between 10 and 11:30 p.m. The following is from the written account of a KGB internal affairs officer.
After obtaining more exact information, it was established that a rather large number of residents in nearby cities became eyewitnesses of a UFO, and in several cases, 2 UFOs. One witness saw a ray of light emitted from the object that illuminated the Earth's surface.
If there are so many rumors and talks about UFOs, sooner or later government will ask its intelligence. What's going on, guys? Explain us. And KGB had to create this file with all the publications abroad and some witnesses who saw or thought that they saw it.
Is it possible that this 1990 incident could have been a simple military test sent up from the grounds at Kapustin Yar? Or was it yet another incident involving UFOs? Coming up, shown for the first time outside of Russia, exclusive footage of what might be the only recorded evidence of a fireball UFO crash. If the Soviet Union had not imploded under its own weight in the early 1990s, the chilling accounts you've just seen of close encounters of the first kind in and around Kapustin Yar would have remained yet another Soviet-era secret.
It's different because the time is different. You know, if you're talking with elder generation, yes, of course, no question about this. But nowadays, absolutely different. You know, younger generation now, they are living in another society and they have much more freedom.
This new freedom in Russia helped the producers of this program acquire, through official channels, this Soviet military footage you are about to see. Throughout the 50s and 60s, the Soviet military experienced a string of failed rocket launches and missile tests that resulted in one disaster after another at the base. Were these simply accidents or retaliatory attacks by UFOs?
I have heard a story, for what it's worth, and I don't usually talk about myths, but I've heard that 4 Soviet big launch vehicles were exploded on the pads by aliens because they kept trying to shoot down the flying saucers.
Hidden from view for 45 years, a Soviet military cameraman captured the after effects of what appear to be 2 fireball-shaped UFOs that reportedly crashed early on June 3, 1960. From what we can determine, not a single person outside of the Soviet military and KGB has ever seen this footage. 3 Red Army firemen are seen running from this massive fireball, which, according to reports, continued to expand, causing other massive explosions in the area for over an hour. One of the fireball-shaped UFOs was believed to have destroyed 3 Soviet rockets on their launch pads, while the other targeted and destroyed a rocket fuel depot, all just yards from the Zitkur underground UFO research facility. The charred remains of the 2 reported UFOs seen here were quickly sent across the base to Zitkur.
Try and imagine Earth as an undeveloped colony. And just like the United States and the Soviet Union fought wars over other areas, political wars over other areas, imagine the aliens want our resources. And they're fighting over Earth the same way the U.S. and the Soviet Union had conflicts over other areas after World War II.
How could all of these shocking events have been held back from the public for so many years?
The Stalin's time and early post-Stalin times, everything was restricted. So you was not allowed to talk about this. In Stalin time, they will simply send you to the prison.
Could all of these UFO accounts and the trail of freshly unearthed evidence of UFOs be attributed to logical explanation? Or is it possible that strange things really do happen in Russia? A reporter for one of America's largest newspapers says yes. In May 2005, reports reached the Moscow bureau of the Los Angeles Times that a lake about 3 hours away from Moscow had simply vanished.
We went up there because we heard that it had just disappeared, and I said, you know, I'm not going after this story. A lake does not just disappear.
Kim Murphy visited the site a few days later. Her account was published on the front page of the newspaper on May 27, 2005.
We got up there and just found this huge hole in the ground. The only eyewitness, as far as we know, who actually saw what happened described going down to the lake where he says there's this swirling of water that looks like water going down a toilet bowl, just, you know, in a raging circle, just tumultuous. And it's going and it's going and it's going, and pretty soon it's gone.
From disappearing lakes to fireballs seen in the sky to reported attacks by cigar-shaped UFOs, Russia continues to be a land of incredible mystery. And as top-secret work continues to this day at Kapustin Yar and Zitkur, the base remains a potent lightning rod for UFO activity. According to one researcher, Kapustin Yar was the site of a crash in 1989, and even more recently, the debris of a 1997 crash in Poland was taken to Kapustin Yar for analysis. Recent political moves by Russian President Vladimir Putin have caused some in the West to accuse his government of closing the Iron Curtain once again on today's vibrant Russia.
On a day-to-day basis, people are convinced and worried that Putin's Russia is a much more authoritarian Russia than was Yeltsin's Russia.
They do know that UFO information is not available from Russia as easily as it had been before.
You lose the ability to control secrets in an open society. Putin came out of the KGB. He's seeing a lot of valuable information and valuable technology go to private sources. The Soviet Union is closing down in a lot of areas, but also closing down in UFOs.
It might be even longer until the curtain is pulled back on the secret underground laboratories and lairs of this legendary Area 51 of Russia. And we have only just begun to scratch the surface of the puzzling mysteries of Russia's Roswell.
Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
Seeing is believing.
It's 1,000,001 chance, but it's happened before.
The impact would be a catastrophe, a disaster that's absolutely unparalleled.
One cosmic event that could devastate our world in an instant. Asteroid apocalypse on Mega Disasters. Tonight at 9 on the History Channel.
The whole globe reduced to ash is just scary.